Welcome to the third module of the Doorstep Library online reading volunteer training. This module will cover how to engage with families during your online reading sessions. The aims of this session are to explain how the online sessions will run, to provide ideas about how to create a supportive environment, how to structure online reading sessions with multiple children, and to understand how to engage with families online. So firstly, how the online reading session works. The family will join the call, so you let them in from the waiting room. Make sure that a parent or carer is present in the home when you join the call, as we always need consent before starting the reading session. We mention what you should do if there is no parent present in the safeguarding module. Then you check in with children at the start. You can ask how they're doing, how was their week, and get the material ready for starting the session. We'll send you the resource guide alongside these modules, and this gives you information on how to access books and ebooks to use during the sessions. A reminder to keep an eye on the time during the session so that you and your partner can gently wrap up on the last page or let the children know when we have a couple of minutes left. Then you spend 15 minutes on the reading and engaging with the books and the children. After this is when we wrap up. So this is when we gently bring the session to an end. Positive reinforcement should be happening throughout the session, but it's especially nice for the wrap up at the end. For example, you read really well today, and we look forward to reading with you next week, and build anticipation and excitement in the child for the following week. So leaving it with, what do you think might happen next in the story? Let's find out next week. Remember to also say goodbye to a parent or carer before leaving the call. So what kinds of things can we do to make a child feel comfortable and at ease during the reading sessions? Setting routines. Using the same technique to start and end the visit each time is an ideal way to engage all children. For younger children, this could be using a game to choose a book, or perhaps a song or stretching activity. Asking how was their week, how was school at the start of the sessions, and at the end of the session, having a similar technique which can help to transition out of the reading session. Taking turns to read out loud. Some children may initially feel shy about reading aloud. Remember, you can read to the children if they would prefer that, and get them to engage by asking questions about the characters and pictures in the book. You could then try reading a page each and gradually increasing the amount the child reads to you. Using puppets and other objects could also help to make the session more fun and interactive for the children. If you have anything to hand that can be used as props, this can help children engage with the story. And using different facial expressions. Communicating via a screen can be harder than in person, so facial expressions are really helpful to encourage children to feel at ease, and some extra smiling is definitely recommended. Allowing space. We know from experience that it's very easy for everyone to speak at once by accident on a Zoom call, as there could be time lags. Work together to keep everyone equally involved and heard. This also applies to your volunteer partner, as well as to parents. Make sure that all children are given the time to warm up and that they always have the opportunity to speak. Multiple children in a family might prefer to rotate turns for sessions each week, so each child has dedicated reading time. Reading online can be a challenge for children to concentrate. The following ways can help children to focus and engage during reading visits. Movement. Something that many children struggle with is keeping still, which is natural at their age. Don't worry if children need to move around during the session. In fact, you could encourage it by leading some stretching, clapping, or dancing at the beginning or end of the session. This will help keep the reading more focused. But be careful. Don't do activities or actions which encourage children to do things that might risk falls or injury. Playing games. While we want to do as much reading as possible, games can be used to help children focus. Some ideas from our volunteers include mixing up Simon Says using the child's favourite book character, like Peppa Pig, Peppa Says, or having a game of rock, paper, scissors to help the child make decisions about what book to choose. Songs and rhymes are also a great way to engage little ones. Some of the best fun is with short songs and very simple actions. Children might also want to sing their own songs. It's okay not to know the song, and you can encourage them by praise and clapping. Keeping it short. Story time can be kept short to help all children engage. Children can feel tired after school or have days where they don't want to read. Even though reading time may be short, you are still helping to develop vocabulary, confidence, speech, and language skills, and a love of reading for pleasure. So don't be disheartened if you have to cut a session short. Asking questions can help to make sure that your audience is still with you. Colors, actions, sounds, objects, and animal names all work well for the little ones, and you can start focusing more on the actual plot as children transition from baby books to picture books. Questions become more articulated with older children. If you read a factual book, for example, you could ask, what was the most surprising fact we read about today? If sharing a chapter book, ask about the characters, or what do you think happens next? And using your voice. Vary your voice tones. Go soft, go loud, and use intonation. This will help you to sound more interesting when you speak and sound more interested in what children have to say. Make up voices for each character. This can make the story come to life, and you can ask children to help you with this too. Using the pictures as a visual aid to talk about what is happening helps with the reading, and you can ask the children to join in by naming the colors or making sounds. Cliffhangers are also great, choosing an exciting point in the story to end the session. So with chapter books, get the child really excited about what might happen next. Try guessing different scenarios. This builds up suspense for the next session. And remember to always encourage the child to go ahead and read during the week if they wish. And don't forget, it's all about the magic of books and the joy of reading for pleasure. Overall, you will most likely find that each week you might use a combination of these techniques until both you and the family find the best method that works for you. Remember to ask the parent, a carer, and the children what they think too. Our aim is to foster a love of reading within the home rather than a focus on educational attainment. We want to engage the whole family during the 12 months of reading sessions with us so that they feel empowered to continue their reading journey after they graduate. Tips for reading with multiple children include pairing children. This can be an excellent solution when siblings are close in age or reading ability, and you are able to find a book that captures the interests of both. Often picture books might do the trick for this, and you can then get the children taking turns to read a page each. Or dividing up your time. This might work best with children who cannot be paired with other siblings due to differing ages, a family with more children, or varying reading abilities, or simply personalities. Siblings don't necessarily agree. In this scenario, you could split up the time during your visit to give individual focus to each child. It enables you to provide more tailored support compared with the whole family session, whilst making it a bit more manageable as fewer children are on the call. You might also find that individual sessions focusing on a different child each week works best for a particular family. Keep in mind that children might be seen less often if you're rotating visits with each sibling. You may encounter some tech issues which might impact the reading sessions. Families have varying experience with technology, so this requires us to be extra patient and understanding. And here are some things to be mindful of. Screens. Ensure that the pages are big enough and children are close enough to the screen for them to see what's happening in the picture. Sound. You may have sessions where background noise levels are high. If you are having difficulty with noise, letting the parents or older children know I'm having some trouble hearing you might help. Do not explicitly suggest they move to a different room, as a different room might not be available. Nor should you ask them to turn off the TV, for example. There might be someone else watching the TV in the room without us knowing, and our request could put them off from joining the sessions in the future. Slow video speed. Both volunteers and families may have slow internet speeds. Often technical issues will resolve themselves with a bit of time. If you are finding your tech is running slowly, try changing to another device if possible, or closing other programs or tabs that you have running. For the families, if technical difficulties persist, please speak to your project leader. They can try to assist the family with technical issues or help facilitate conversations around noise or session locations. You will have already seen the tech module of this training, which covers the basics of using Zoom, and you will also be sent a troubleshooting guide before you start your reading sessions. Your project leader is also available during sessions to support you and your volunteer partner. Now we're going to think about meeting families and our approach. Right from the start of your volunteering, we will be asking you to engage with the whole family, children and parents and carers. We'll look at ways to do that and also what might affect their consistent engagement with reading sessions. Why is it important to include parents and carers during sessions? Our long-term aim is to empower parents so that they feel they can do exactly what we're doing outside of our reading sessions, which is supporting and encouraging their children to read for pleasure and gain confidence reading independently. Getting to know the parents each week is as equally important as reading with the children, and will not only help in the end result of building a child's confidence in reading, but will also build a whole picture of the family and the tailored support they may need in relation to their child's reading. Use gentle persistence and don't give up on a parent who may not engage in sessions at first. Make a point of engaging with them at the start and end of your reading sessions. Some doorstep library parents may be confident encouraging reading with their children. However, not all parents are confident readers themselves, or there may be language barriers. Parents are more likely to engage in their reading sessions if they know you and trust you. Be careful not to invite a parent to read a page until they feel comfortable. Making the session fun, for example, by using silly voices for different characters, commenting on the pictures, counting, or asking questions about the characters. If you're not afraid to be a bit silly during the session, it may help parents feel comfortable doing the same when they're reading with their children. Remember that you can always speak to your project leader if you need further support or tips for engaging with families during your sessions. And you can always find resources in the volunteers area. We want families to engage with confidence and at their own speed, and we expect you to approach your sessions without any judgment about the families or their circumstances. This means that you need to understand the factors that might interfere with their engagement, and we try to think for each family about how to involve everyone in the reading sessions. These are some of the things that might put pressure on any family. Families may experience all kinds of issues, many of which we may not know about as they won't be obvious during the reading sessions. Equally, some of our families might not be facing any of these barriers at all, but it's important to be aware of these, especially as they could impact families' engagement with reading at home. Be aware that some families may have negative experiences through other services, which can impact their level of trust with us. We want to ensure that all families feel welcomed and supported during our sessions, so it's important to be aware by some of the barriers they may be facing. Some tips for engaging with parents and carers are to be patient and gently persistent. Sessions are scheduled for a specific time, and parents will need to be prepared with a device, and they will need to use the email for Zoom links. Families may need a few weeks of support to get into the routine of setting up the sessions on their end. Always be professional. Families will receive reminders via email and text, but you may have to call them too. It's important to always be polite, professional, and understanding in your communications with them. Don't take it personally if they don't answer or can't make it. Be welcoming and have fun. Small actions like remembering to smile, using friendly words, and positive body language can have a big impact if a family feels unsure about reading sessions. Actions like waving or using the on-screen thumbs up emojis can help break down language barriers and make them feel included. Engage with parents and carers. So asking parents and carers which books their children like will help the parent feel involved and will give you ideas for your sessions. They know their children best, so work with them to build a session that will suit their family. With older children, where the parent might naturally be less engaged during the session, you can mention at the end how well their child has read and any positive progress. For example, we're halfway through this chapter book we're reading. To build rapport, you can try to start a general conversation with parents and carers, for example, asking them how their week has been or how they are generally. You can also find more tips and resources for engaging with parents and carers in the volunteers area. Remember that when a parent is there but doesn't get involved, don't give up. We aim to model just how much fun it can be to share a book whenever a parent or carer is present in the session, even if their first language isn't English. Once we've slowly built a trusting relationship with parents, we're in a really unique position to spend time with the parent and child having fun with books. Each family and child are different, so no two reading sessions will look the same, and that's okay. Through this approach, empowering families to read for pleasure in the home, after our 12 months of sessions, they will be ready to graduate. At this stage of graduation, we celebrate the end of a family's reading journey with us. Each child receives a graduation pack posted to their address, and this includes a book of their choice, signposting materials to local libraries for access to books, reading resources for the parents, and personalised recommendations for each child based on their age range. Each child will also receive a Doorstep Library certificate. And as volunteers, you will be asking the children which book titles they would like for their graduation. We will try our best to accommodate these as long as the books are available and suitable for the child's age range. Thank you for completing this module. This is the end of Module 3, and there are 2 more modules to do.